Come on, 2, 3.
Well, good morning. Welcome back to the broadcast Retirement Network. I'm Jeff Snyder. This is BRN AM for Monday, December 20th, 2021. And our top story today, the importance of nutrition for our seniors. Joining me now to discuss this and a lot more is Travis Chilcott. He is the owner of Nutrition HealthWorks. Travis, it's great to see you. Thanks so much for joining us this morning on the program.
Happy holidays. Glad to be here. Thanks for having us.
Yeah, I love talking nutrition. It's great to have you and your team on the program as regular contributors. But today we're going to shift gears a little bit. We're going to talk about seniors and nutrition for seniors. And by seniors, I don't mean necessarily high school seniors. We're talking about our mature folks in our society. Why is this so important?
Well, it's important because as the body ages, the nutrition needs will also change. So it's important to stay on top of it in order to make sure that there's no malnutrition, that there's no shortage of any type of vitamins and minerals in the body. And so you stay healthy throughout the duration of your life.
Agreed. And would you just either anecdotally or having some data to back it up, our seniors, our mature members of our society who are vital, they carry on, there's so much that they add in terms of value to enriching all of our lives. They have a lot of experience. But are they suffering from some type of malnutrition? Had they had challenges, especially during the pandemic, in getting the nutrition that they need?
Well, that depends, right? You've got some populations that still are going out getting groceries on a regular basis and things like that. And then you have others that are staying in and they're having someone else choose the type of food that comes in the house. They may be ordering in a little bit more, which could be, good or bad, right? So they may have a little bit less control. So what we've seen and what I've heard and read around the country is that it really depends based on location, and then of course based on the level of cases and requirements and things like that of going out in public, especially since a lot of them are at that sensitive group of COVID where you want to be very, very mindful of the time that you spend out and things like that. But the grocery stores do have a slight shortage of those really high nutrient dense type foods. But if we think outside the box and think about, frozen foods, longer shelf life type foods, then there still is some nutrition in there. And we just have to be a little bit more mindful about the foods that you're choosing, especially if there's shortages due to COVID.
Travis, they always say that 2,000 calories is something that we all should be consuming every day. And of course, that's generic. Your needs, if you're working out, you look very buff. If you're working out on a regular basis, you're going to need more calories than I would, even if we're the same weight, same body type. But are there telltale signs? I guess my point is, are there telltale signs where we can look at our loved ones, our relatives, and say, hey, they're not getting what they need. We need to ask the right questions.
Yeah, that's a great point. Yeah. So strength. So as our seniors, they need to be able to, they need to be sure to monitor their strength, right? Are they having trouble picking up, a box of holiday decorations, right? Are they having any type of dizziness? Are they having a lot of thirst, right? So there's telltale signs that you can monitor for oneself, and it could be the strength, it could be a lack of protein or a lack of enough strength training, because that's something that's vital as the body ages. Our muscle mass tends to decline, so we need to make sure to do some type of strength training. In addition to that, the dizziness could be: are we getting too much or not enough salt? Or are we getting enough brain foods, fats and carbohydrates? And then when it comes to the activity as a whole, Or, are we getting too many carbohydrates or too few carbohydrates? And then when it comes to the thirst, are we thirsty? Are we getting enough water? Those are all, some important telltale signs that, hey, am I getting the right amount of nutrients and hydration for my body?
And it's really important as family members, as friends, loved ones, people living around mature people to check in, right? I mean, I would think that, sometimes we've had stories, we've done shows on things like Alzheimer's and dementia, and not everyone has those diseases, but we should be checking in on our loved ones to make sure that we are looking at them and making sure that they're properly, have the proper nutrition.
Absolutely. And there again, it's those same things that we can look for, right? If we are checking in, are they having trouble with the strength? Are they having trouble with the dizziness? Do they have any type of sometimes incomplete sentences or distorted sentences can be signs that they're not getting enough brain food. So there's no need to, freak out right off the bat if there's some distorted sentences in there. It could be just they're not getting enough food. So pay attention to their plates. Just be mindful of the way that they're acting and how those loved ones are getting around and standing up and down, and also making sure that they're getting enough hydration. If you're hanging out, watching, or spending some time, especially a long duration of time with some of these relatives, have they been drinking any water since you've been there, right, and visiting? So that's important little things to watch for.
Well, Travis, I need to take a very quick break. When we come back, we'll talk more about self-care, making sure that our seniors have the appropriate nutrition. You're going to want to stay tuned right here on BRN AM. Imagine a new television network that will make you richer, healthier, and in control of your financial future. This network is for the policewoman in Nashville, Tennessee, the baker in Dubuque, Iowa, the teacher in Lexington, Kentucky. We want to make the idea of savings and retirement culturally relevant. But what do you see as a defining issue of the midterms, especially for the smaller businesses? I mean, they are the lifeblood of the American economy. Featuring exclusive interviews, current affairs, and docuseries. 33 years old, you retired early.
The philosophy is money only matters if it helps you live a life that you love.
But you got to start thinking about retirement as soon as you get in.
The Broadcast Retirement Network will drive very high engagement with premium partnerships. So this isn't retirement and savings for your parents or grandparents. This is for all Americans. And we're going to change the way you think about money. Welcome to the next frontier of retirement and savings. This is BRN, the Broadcast Retirement Network.
You need a financial plan that fits the way you want to live in retirement. A plan that can help grow and protect your money, now or in the future. With an annuity in your plan to help cover essential expenses, you'll have the freedom to live the retirement you want. This is what an annuity can do. Find the right financial professional to show you how. Learn more at protectedincome.org.
Are you stuck with a low credit score? A credit report and score that's causing you to be denied credit or pay higher interest rates than others for the same things? Then do what Terrence did and call Credit Repaired for your free credit evaluation to help restore your credit.
I started thinking about buying a new house, and my score wasn't where I needed it to be. I called and spoke with one of the representatives, and we just had a good conversation, and I liked what he was saying.
Just one call for his free credit evaluation was all it took to start back on the track to repairing his credit.
seeing the deletions and I'm getting the report, so I know something's being done. It does make a difference to me.
All it takes is one call to get started.
Credit Repair has given me a second chance to have a better credit score.
Don't let a low credit score hold you back another day. Do what Terrence did and make the call for your free credit evaluation.
Call 800-819-4152. That's 800-819-4152. Again, 800-819-4152.
Welcome back. This morning we're talking to Travis Chilcott of Nutrition HealthWorks. Travis, thanks so much for staying with us this morning.
Absolutely.
And in past conversations with you and your colleague Tara Starbuck, we've talked about how to shop, and that's always important. Where to shop in a store, whether it's a Whole Foods or a Kroger's or any brand, you should know your way around the grocery store. But let's talk about the supply chain a little bit. And you had alluded to this. There have been challenges getting nutrition-dense foods for a lot of reasons, maybe trucking, shipping, all that kind of stuff. But let's talk about things that we should be thinking about. So when you think about high-protein foods, as an example, Greek yogurt, I would think, would be something that you might be able to get in addition to some of the lean meats. But your thoughts on that?
Well, absolutely. I mean, yogurts, cheeses, things like that are fantastic sources of protein. And of course, lean meats. However, those are becoming harder and harder to find, and a lot. And of course, with the current levels of inflation, right, they become more expensive. And as a senior, if you're on a fixed income, that can be very difficult to start going out and buying those types of lean meats. So, we don't need to forget about vegetables. Vegetables are extremely high dense protein source. Yes, you have to eat a lot of them in order to get that amount of protein, but with such low calorie content, you can, vegetables are pretty much freebies. You can eat them as much as you want. They don't really impact any health and wellness, if anything, on a negative side. If anything, they're a huge benefit. But then also you have to think of beans, legumes, seeds, things like that. I know I went to the grocery store last week to pick up, some chicken breasts, and they had literally no chicken breasts at all. And so I went to the vegetarian section and I ended up picking up, some vegetarian options because those always seem to be in stock, right? So vegetarian hamburger patties and things like that as an alternative to have a great protein source and make that swap out when those lean proteins aren't available.
Yeah, it's always, I guess you can try new things at any age, and I guess we all have our preferences for taste, but if you can't find beef, as you mentioned, or chicken, lean versions of that, there are lots of really, I was taking a pass through the frozen food section. There are a lot of vegetarian dishes that offer, when I look at the back and I look at the protein, there's a lot of protein in beans. There's a lot of protein in some of these dishes and they offer a variety of tastes.
They do. And they're getting better and better. Every time I try a new product, they taste even better, which is great. Their formulations have improved. Their textures have improved. So that's fantastic. And protein is found in every single food source except for fruits. So, nuts and seeds and all kinds of different things, depending on what your needs are. And we do want to be mindful that some frozen foods, especially ones that you do cook, can be a little bit higher in sodium. So if you have high blood pressure, you want to just be very, very mindful of that. But there's great sources out there, and almost all foods have protein, like I said, except for fruits.
And we're not, I don't think, we're not saying you have to have a radical change in your diet. But if you do tend to change your diet, you may want to consult a physician or a health expert like yourself, a nutrition expert like yourself, to understand, hey, if I move away from this and I've always been eating this, and now I add this is what potentially could happen, and how does it interact, to your point, with medications I'm taking? If I'm taking a blood thinner, for example, and the nutrients that I'm consuming further thin my blood, that might be a risk.
It can be. So I would not rely on Dr. Google. I would absolutely go see. Yeah, I would actually absolutely go see either a medical professional or nutrition professional like our group. And it's these switches, that we're discussing are only temporary, right? The supply chains will come back. Some areas are already seeing a increase in supply chain and having more food options available at grocery stores. Some areas are still struggling. So we're talking about those areas that still are, some of the grocery store shelves are still a little empty in some areas, but, absolutely. And with seeking somebody out like a dietitian, they're going to introduce you to foods that, you may not have tried before, but they could be very, very tasty. Trust me, we love food more than anyone else. I can promise you that. That's the reason why we're in this industry, is because we love helping people and we love food. And so we could usually come up with the most creative ways to cook foods and try new foods, adding great flavors to foods. And so I think a lot of people would be pleasantly surprised if they seek out a nutrition professional as to what type of food concoctions that we can create that will taste great, but they may be less popular options, which means they're usually found easily at your grocery store.
Yeah, and I guess last question, and thank you for that, Travis. I mean, I think now during the holidays, it's especially important to check in. The colder months, maybe mature folks don't necessarily want to get out, so maybe there are ways to help pick up food for your neighbors. Or I know there are many food banks that look out for mature folks that try to step in here, especially with food prices, as you said, inflation really running rampant. It's really challenging people on a fixed budget. So any last thoughts on that?
Well, absolutely. Another great point. Yes. One of the things that we've been able to combat that with is the ability to perform telehealth. So having our services be able to sit here on a computer like what we're doing now, and we can actually walk through a grocery store list. We can help you order through your local grocery store, and so they can deliver those types of groceries for you. The other option would be, creating a list of common foods that are normally found at, like food banks and things like that, and just creating that list and going down, writing things down with you, and saying, okay, well, listen, these are some common products. Go ahead and go to the food bank and take a look and see what they have, and then providing some alternatives. If you can't find those, this is also another great source. So just walking through, taking the time one by one, and just go down the list and either help someone order or create a grocery store list.
Yeah, really smart point. It all comes down to awareness, communication, being aware either for yourself or for others. Travis, great to talk to you as always. I feel energized, like I just worked out after I talked to you. And I want to wish you and everyone at Nutrition Health Works a great holiday. And we look forward to having you back on the program again very soon.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Jeffrey, and happy holidays to you as well.
And that wraps up this episode of BRN AM. Have a topic of interest, someone you think we should talk to, drop us a line. And don't forget, for all the information in lifestyle, wellness, tech, finance, so much more, check out today's edition of our daily newsletter, The Morning Pulse. Hey, want to search our archives or see our latest content? Check out our streaming partners, Roku, Amazon, Samsung, and over 100 more. We're back again tomorrow for BRN AM. Until then, I'm Jeff Snyder. Stay safe, keep on saving, and don't forget, roll with the changes. Now is your opportunity to co-create content around any topic on the first lifestyle and wellness network. Reach a global audience through our platform and co-own exclusive branded content. All of our programs are available on demand and also as audio-only podcasts, so you can take us on the go. Broadcast Retirement Network, available anytime, anywhere, and on any device.
Are you being audited and do you owe the IRS $10,000 or more in back taxes? Is the IRS threatening to take more of your money? Don't fight the IRS alone. The Tax Doctor is here to help you negotiate your tax bill and reduce your stress. The IRS can freeze your assets and seize your bank accounts, but you can stop these IRS actions. The Tax Doctor will work with you using our years of experience to represent your case to help you get the best resolution under the IRS guidelines. Help is here to deal with the IRS to reduce your stress. We've handled thousands of cases, so we know what we're doing. If you owe $10,000 or more in back taxes, do not call the IRS alone. Call a Tax Doctor now for a tax emergency analysis.
Call 800-224-6439.